I'm done with camping. I told these guys, like, never again. If you want to camp, go for it. I will
Yeah.
be at the hotel.
We are Moms Unhinged, a nationally touring stand-up comedy show. Join us in our podcast as we explore everything from motherhood, midlife crisis, marriage, divorce, online dating, menopause, and other things that irritate us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moms Unhinged, the podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Marie, and I am here with the amazing Lindsay Porter, calling in from Chicago. Welcome, Lindsay.
Hey, hi.
We're going to talk today about camping with kids. Oh my gosh. So you guys, if you don't know, I know not everyone knows all of our comedians, but Lindsay is one of our Chicago-based comedians. She tours around all over with us. She is coming out to Colorado in September. If you haven't seen Lindsay on a show yet, you definitely have to see her. She's so amazing and funny. But I did put out the call to all of our comedians about this topic, camping with kids. And I'm like, oh, I guess not a lot of people go camping with kids, as they probably shouldn't.
It's a very wise decision. Also, you live in Colorado where there's mountains, and we don't really camp where there's mountains. It's a little bit different. With Midwest camping, I mean, we've camped other places, but it's largely flat. It's a lot easier.
Let's talk about where you camped. Because I grew up in Chicago, as some people may know, and I would go up to Door County, and that was a really beautiful place to camp. But where would you go camping?
So for my childhood, we camped a lot, and we camped all over the Midwest in exciting places like Door County, which is actually gorgeous and really cool. But Devil's Lake.
Oh, Devil's Lake. I didn't ever go there. Yeah.
Beautiful place. We all over Michigan. As a family, we camped a lot. And I remember once ending up at a place called Willow Slough, which is slough or a slough is basically like a giant swamp. And it was so buggy. And my parents were like, we should have looked up slough in the dictionary before it was just like the 70s where they were like, not a good idea to go camping where it's just a lot of mosquitoes.
Oh my goodness.
So,
yeah, speaking of bad places to go, we took our kids to Leech Lake. And that's actually a thing up in Minnesota. And yes, there are leeches. So it's like, why are we doing this?
I did take my kid to a place called Amnicon Falls, my husband and I and his cousins. And there were leeches. It's gorgeous. It's in northern Wisconsin, so probably a very similar, like, kind of geography to Minnesota.
Right.
And these gorgeous falls, and you can sit in them, and it's amazing. But then we did notice that we had leeches on us, and I was like, of course, at that point, I had a phone. I was like, you can just take them off of you. And I was like, just pick them off. And my son is picking them off. He doesn't give a crap. He's like, fine. But then one of his cousins kind of freaked out, was like, they suck your blood. And then there was a lot of screaming and running, and I was like, just a little bit. It's fine. They used to be medicinal. It's pretty.
You used to have to pay for this.
That's right. It's sucking the bad humors out of you or whatever.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I know. If you just don't think about it, I mean, mosquitoes suck your blood too. So we've got.
They're just water mosquitoes. It's fine.
They're just slimy water mosquitoes. It's just.
When I think about us camping with my son, like, they're always the worst stories are from the camping trips. But they're also the most memorable.
Right.
So I'm like, and they're so fun. It's so terrible. Camping is so terrible in the moment sometimes.
Yeah.
But like the best memories.
Yeah, for sure. We took my kids camping when they were, it was my oldest son. I don't know what we were thinking. It was me. I know. It's always me instigating some of these things. And I just wanted to go to this beautiful lake. So we took him camping. He was only 2, and they're used to a nightlight. And so it was every hour on the hour he woke up screaming, and we were in this campsite, beautiful in Weldona Lake or some lake up in the mountains. and the campsites were pretty close together. So every hour, he's just screaming bloody murder. And we would have to try and quiet him down. He's like, it's too dark. It's too dark, and, and then we were trying to like have a flashlight, but that was really bright. And, it just was a totally bad decision on how early to take him camping. So that was not good.
Yeah. Well, we had a similar experience where most of our camping we did like my sister's in-laws own a gorgeous place up in northern Wisconsin with like 180 acres in their own lake. So a lot of our camping was done in like, we did it in my parents' backyard out in the suburbs, like 5 acres in a barn.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was like, you're going to camp, but there's a bathroom.
Yeah.
Kind of were vacation moochers. We had friends who had much nicer, like, parents with vacation homes, and we would pitch a tent in their yard. So, but we took him to like a regular campsite when he was really little. Similar thing happened that in a distant campsite, you could hear a dog barking, and all night long, it's Mommy, Daddy, doggy go bow wow, doggy go bow wow. And he's like screaming and we're like 3 feet away from the neighbor's tent.
Oh man. Yeah. It's just a weird, and it takes so long to get prepared to camp. You're just before, like, camping sounds good. And then I'm spending the entire day getting ready to camp. If you just camp one night, it just feels like 2 days of prep and recovery for 1 day of camping.
And then the set, like the packing, everything, and then the setup.
Yeah.
Which is invariably like one adult having to do like all of the tent poles and everything.
Yeah.
While the kid needs to go to the bathroom, and it's just, it's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it sounds like you grew up camping. Did you grow up?
Oh yeah. And the highlight of our camping trips. Okay, there was one time when we took like a 10-day camping trip up in the UP of Michigan.
Oh,
and I have
wow.
a sister and a brother. I'm the oldest. My brother was like 4 years old. So we spent, a long time. It was gorgeous. I have great memories of this trip. But my brother was peeing outside all the time. So we went up to Mackinac Island, or it might
beautiful.
be Mackinac. I can never remember.
I
It's
know,
a little
it's
yellow.
both. It's
I can't remember. But it's gorgeous, and they have a big fancy hotel up there called the Grand Hotel.
Yes.
And so we'd been camping for 10 days. We're all in our grubby clothes, and my mom is like, let's go to the Grand Hotel. So we go, and my brother, who's 4, unzips his pants, and pees in the bushes in front of the Grand Hotel. I mean, this is a beautiful hotel. This is where, like,
so
presidents
fancy.
stay. It's so fancy. We tried to go a few years ago. It was like $700 a night. We're like, we're not going there. So, yeah, that was a thing that happened on the trip. And my dad had a tradition that I loved, and I did it with my son, too. He created a character called Little Brunhilde, who was a little girl whose parents were trying to eat her. But she was a very good girl, and she did whatever they said. And at the end of every camping trip, he would tell a story about little Brunhilde and her best friend, the little girl with a cigar in her mouth. And all of the stories would be based on things that we had done. And they would mostly be about how she escapes being eaten by her parent. I don't know. We love them. It's probably should work it out in therapy, but we really look forward to these stories. And then I tried to do it with CJ, my son, and he was a little less enthusiastic. Maybe I wasn't as good a storyteller. My dad was a great storyteller.
Oh, that's what a great memory. That's so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had really good memories of my childhood camping and was trying to recreate it with my son, sometimes my sister and her kids.
Yep.
We did have an epic family vacation where we decided to do some winter camping.
Oh,
but it was like November. And the night before was absolutely gorgeous. It was like a 70-degree November night. And we went to the suburbs of Chicago, like the south suburbs with some friends, where you're camping, but they have these cabins. They're unheated, but you've got a bed, and there's no bathroom in them. You have to go to like a bathhouse.
Right.
But the rest of it, it's like you're at like a sort of like a campsite.
Yeah.
And well, it went from 70 degrees to like 29.
Oh my gosh.
Overnight.
Yeah.
And it was the coldest, most miserable trip. And it was actually a beautiful place, but all the leaves had fallen off, and we were actually just in the Chicago suburbs, not really out anywhere. And in the distance, you could see the light of a bar, and all the adults were like, "Can we just leave the bar? Can we just go to the bar?" My friend is a wonderful cook, and she brought like meat to defrost, and we were going to make kebabs over the grill, and it was so cold, the meat wouldn't defrost, so we had to just order a pizza. Like the delivery guy showed up at the campsite.
They're probably like, what are you doing out here?
It's so terrible. All of the adults snored, so none of the kids could sleep. We did more drinking than we probably should have. No one was driving. It was just because it was so cold. And
what are you going to do?
My son still remembers, so like, remember that worst trip we ever took? But it was kind of fun. I mean, there was a lot of laughing, but it was totally miserable.
I mean, we had something similar where every year we would go up with my church group who would, it was great because I loved going as a group because then, you forget the paper towels, someone else has them. So you don't think about something, someone else has a cool way to make coffee, or whatever it is. And so we would go up every year into the mountains. We'd pick a different spot. It was always fun because the kids would all just go off and build some sort of wooden fort. Well, one year it just rained all day raining, and we're just trapped in these little tents. We did have, some people had like kind of shade spots that we could be in, but it was raining so hard. It was like coming in the sides. So, we were just huddled in these two areas, and the adults just were drinking. We were just like, I don't know what else to do.
Like, we have houses.
Yeah.
We have homes. And they're great.
This?
They protect us from the elements. They're really comfortable. Like, why aren't we hanging out there?
Right.
Which was a thing that I learned because, I became a mom at 42. So I was like, in my 50s with a young kid, and I was like, I am done sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
But that's why it was great to do like camping at my sister's in-laws' place because we would send the children out to camp in the yard.
Right.
And all the adults would be inside.
Yeah.
And we would check on them, we could go out.
That's perfect.
Was good.
That's perfect.
I like that camping.
I know. I love the story about how you could see the light from the bar. That's so awesome. My very first camping experience, my parents didn't camp. I didn't grow up camping. I loved the idea of it. And so when I think it was about 10 or 11, I think it was in 6th grade, I got invited to go camping with a friend of mine in the neighborhood. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to go camping. And I was picturing, woods and, just roughing it out there. And so we go camping, and it turns out to be driving, I don't know, I think it was like maybe 30 minutes away to a Jellystone RV park. With it just all was concrete by the side of a highway. and the dad set up his TV and just watched TV the whole time. And we did go into the little...
Did they have an RV or something, or were you
Yeah, it was an RV. They had an RV. I don't remember much about sleeping in the RV. We may have been like in a tent right next to it or something. But my friend and I did go into the little rec room area and play pool. So that was my camping experience.
Were you like shooting pool and playing craps and gambling?
By the side of the highway, just,
By the side of the highway. It was like a very wholesome trip for a child.
Right.
That's
great. Right. That's so funny.
We did a camping trip when I was a kid. We went to Disney World when it was brand new. And they had this amazing campground.
Wow.
And I remember my parents didn't particularly love camping. It was just less
Cheaper.
Expensive with a bunch of kids.
Right.
And they loved to travel. So, we could do it.
It makes a lot of sense.
And I just remember my dad loved it because they had a cart that came by in the morning that had hot tea, hot coffee, snacks, and newspapers.
Oh.
And we loved it because they played Disney movies outside every night. And they had like a big swimming hole.
Yeah.
And they had very nice bathrooms.
Yeah.
It was basically like camping, but barely. So
Yeah, much nicer.
glamping before they called it. Before
Yeah,
it was
right,
called.
right. And then would you go to Disney during the day? Would you
Then
do?
we went to Disney
Oh,
during the
wow.
day, and that way
Yeah,
we could like kind of,
yeah.
afford to take 3 kids to Disney because you
Oh,
didn't need,
right.
yeah,
It's so expensive. Those, and you're never
great.
in, you're not even in the hotel, you're not even there. So why
Just
not?
sleep,
Yeah,
right?
why not camp and do it much cheaper? That's so,
Yeah.
so smart. So smart.
Well, my husband took my son on a one-night camping trip up in northern Wisconsin on the Namakagon River, which is absolutely gorgeous. We
Yeah.
were staying at the cabin with the family,
Uh-huh.
and they took CJ must have been about 7 or 8, and his cousin is a year older, and they took the boys on a canoe trip, and it was like canoeing all day,
Wow.
and then sleeping at a campsite, and then canoeing all day the next day.
Wow.
And he liked canoeing, but for like a couple hours, not for
Yeah.
like 8 hours.
Yeah.
So he liked the part where they camped
Yeah.
and swam. The river's absolutely beautiful up
Yeah.
there. It's completely untouched. You see all this nature. It's
Yeah.
just gorgeous. But apparently, when they got back, because they had a canoe outfitter like take them there and get them
Right.
back,
Right.
my 8-year-old son ran to the banks of the river and started kissing the ground and going, "Land, land, thank God Almighty, land." He's 19 now, and he recently said he'd be willing to try it again because
Yeah.
now he thinks he could do like 8 hours in a canoe. But he was just too young.
Yeah.
He was bored out of his mind. It was too long.
Right. It's so true. We forget how much kids get bored with just the same kind of thing. That it is hard to remember that you need things to be a little more age appropriate. So we went when I was still in Chicago. I was working with our youth group at our church, and we took all the kids from the youth group. They were all in high school up to the Boundary Waters, and that
Oh,
was
yeah.
definitely more appropriate time. But still, it's tough. It is hard work. Like you're paddling all
Portaging.
day. Yeah, we were doing the portaging with, one time I think we had a mile-long portage. And so it's pretty intense. So yeah, it is
Wow. We had a lot of campers in my family. My brother has done the Boundary Waters. He had a horrifying experience when he was 18 up there with a friend where they got lost. They lost their canoe for like 3 days, and a helicopter had to come try and find them. Anyway, that was a crazy thing. Yeah. But my sister's kids are big readers, so they always would, when we go on these canoe camping trips, they would always bring books. My kid is more of a gamer kid, maybe a comic book.
Yeah.
But I remember you were talking about getting ready for a camping trip.
Yeah.
My sister's kids were getting ready. Every kid got a dry bag, like the Ziploc that
Right.
keeps everything dry. You're supposed to put your most important stuff in there. That's where the adults put their cell phones.
Yeah.
And she was yelling at them. She's like, "You can only bring one book on this trip. You can't use all the dry bags for your books." I was like, what kind of? And then her son is like, "But what if I finish one book and I want to read another book?" And she's like, "One book." So I wish I had a kid that wanted to read so much that he needed multiple dry bags for his books on the trip.
Yeah.
But that's not my kid.
That is hilarious. My
When you
kids
take
just
nerds camping.
yeah. My kids just like going off and, kind of gathering, sticks and whatever and whatnot. They would build a little, it was always fort building. That's what they would do is just drag sticks
I
and
love that.
into a little
And when we
fort
were-
area.
Yeah. When we weren't confined to a river, that would happen. We went up to a beautiful place in Michigan near Ludington on Lake Michigan. And we were camping out up there with family. And there's a whole area where you can walk through all of this grassland and dunes. And there's lots of trees there and tons of birds. And CJ was very entrepreneurial as a child, and he started he called it Bird Vegas instead of like Las Vegas. And he was taking random people on tours he was standing there with a bucket and you could tip him. And he was like, "Tours of Bird Vegas." He was like 9 years old. And no one had really explored this area very much. And there was a lot of cool stuff in there. So he literally was people were paying him, like adults were paying him like $5 for this kid to take him up and down these dunes on a path through these trees to a different way to the beach. And I think he made like $15 this one day. So,
That's so smart. That's good money. That's good money.
it was good money. And then once on the same beach trip, he was very into making money at that point, and he decided to start miming. He'd never had a mime class, but he did also put out his bucket, and I think he made like $4 as a mime. So I now consider him a professional mime. But that's how he livened up our camping trips, is by
That's so
finding ways to make money.
That is hilarious. That's so good. Oh, I love that. We kind of graduated more to cabins after. I mean, we still did camping, but we really did prefer the cabins. That.
Oh, please, yes.
Yeah, and especially like you said, it is so much cheaper. And when they are young, like I just found that we were, money was a little tighter, whatever. When they're just due to all the different circumstances, so camping was great. But then, as soon as we could make a little money, we graduated the cabins, and we would go every year. We'd go to these cabins in Michigan on this whole little area, and it was near the dunes, so it was just a really fun place to go because that was kind of our beach. That was really great, and we would meet some other friends there, and they would get cabins, and so it was a really nice way to vacation. But one year, we did this for like 16 years in a row, and about halfway through doing this, we were looking around, and all of a sudden I noticed, I'm like, you guys, these cabins are actually mobile homes. So we are vacationing in a trailer park. How white trash is that?
Once again, when you actually own a home and you decide to go live on the street or in a or in a mobile home, it's interesting. It's an interesting choice.
Yeah,
we want to be connected to those roots of living off the land, but
yeah,
I'm done with camping. I told these guys, like, never again. If you want to camp, go for it.
Yeah.
I will be at the hotel.
Right. I know. It is rough. There's a lot of bugs. The ground is rough. I can never bring enough. I mean, just having enough cushions for sleeping or whatever, all of a sudden you've got a cot or whatever. But it sounds like your parents camped late into their...
Well, they were young when they had us.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
They were 25 when I was born, and I was 42 when my kid was born. So pretty different. And we had a pop-up. We had the
right.
thing.
Yeah.
And it was the two parents, the three kids, and our giant 100-pound dog, Ralph.
Wow.
And I remember at night, my dad would snore, and then Ralph would snore, and then my dad would snore, and Ralph would. It was just like back and forth. And my sister and I slept on... It was like the kind that pops out and there's two sides. My mom and dad were on one side. My sister was on the other, and my brother was little, and he slept like on some sort of
couch
or something.
Yeah.
And the dog slept on the floor. And I remember that this was like the old 1970s kind of camper, so that there were buttons basically that you snapped it together.
Yeah.
Multiple times I fell out in my whole sleeping bag out of the side onto the ground. Outside, and we had to like knock on the door to get back in the camp. But my mother was like, "Oh, you're fine. You're fine."
I know.
Did you hit your head? No. Okay.
Just go back to bed. Get in there. I know. I didn't. My family didn't camp, so I also went camping with another friend of mine who they did have a camper like that with the pop-out sides, and we would go up to Door County with them. And I went a few years in a row with them, which was really fun. I really enjoyed it. They had other family members who'd come, and we'd sing around the campfire, and the dad played banjo and guitar. It was really such great memories. One year, a bat got into the camper, and I just remember screams in the middle of the night with this thing flapping around, and the dad just yelling and yelling to try and get it out. And then you're like all hyped up. You've just fight or flight mode, and now you have to try and go back to sleep at 2 a.m.
Yeah, and once again, most of the things that you remember from camping are the bad parts.
Exactly.
Because
exactly.
we lived through it.
Well,
It makes you appreciate your your house.
Right. I mean, I always love this saying that I say all the time is you don't tell stories about the things that go right. So,
This is true. This is why we have to go camping.
yeah,
You know?
camping will give you
the reason.
lots and lots of stories. Oh my gosh. Well, Lindsay, this was just so much fun. So much fun talking about camping. And if you're listening, share your camping stories with us in the comments.
Please.
Wherever you are watching this, we'd love to hear more about camping gone wrong because it makes us all feel like we're doing okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lindsay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and make sure you subscribe, share, and follow us on the socials to get more comedy clips.